Hi, my name is Chef Christopher and I'm the owner and executive pastry chef at KakeBakery. I got an email today from Nancy in Georgia that said she got a scale, a digital scale, after watching one of my videos. Congratulations, Nancy. Everything's going to be much better now. But she didn't understand a lot of the buttons that were on the scale. So I'm just going to go over basic use of a scale and what buttons are on the scale. First, let's just go over why I use a scale. I use a scale because I always want exact measurements. Especially at the bakery, I want every product that I put out to always be the same. I don't want a customer coming in and say, wow, that cake was a lot thicker than it was last time, or it was less moist or anything like that. I measure all the ingredients by weight, so everything is always going to be the same. The cake is always going to taste the same. So let's go over the basic functions of a scale. This is a scale I use at home. We have a little bit larger of a scale at the bakery. It just weighs a lot more weight because we're not. I think this is only going to weigh about 2 pounds of anything. So basically, the components of a scale are the pad that you're going to put any ingredients on. I tend not to put any ingredients directly onto the pad. I always either have it in a bowl, or if it's something, let's say it's shortening or something like that, I put a piece of wax paper on there just for sanitary reasons, and also it's easier to clean up than trying to wipe off and put something in a pan. Most scales are going to have 3 buttons. They're going to have a power button, they're going to have a 0 button, or it's going to say tare. Tare is just a fancy word for 0. I'll explain what it does. And then you're going to have one, most scales will say kilograms or pounds. So while we set this down here, first thing you can do, you can either turn the scale on without anything on it. I always like to do that when I first turn on a scale, first time I get a scale, just so I know it's working. It's not going to say, oh, there's 0.1 or 0.2 ounces or whatever. But like I said, you can change it to, there's grams, you can change it to kilograms, your pounds and ounces. I tend to use just ounces. So you can also turn it on with something on it. And it's going to detect, it's really just is not going to detect, I guess you could say it's just going to start at 0. So you can start fresh from that. But just for this, so I can answer Nancy's question directly. So she got her scale. She didn't understand the whole tare button. She had tare. So I'm going to turn on the power. And it's at 0 ounces. I'm going to take a bowl. We're just going to, just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to measure some sugar out. The bowl there, 22 ounces. Let's say my recipe called for 13 ounces of sugar. It's 21.9 ounces, but let's say it called for 13 ounces of sugar. The scale is making it very easy for you to add that 13 ounces instead of you sitting there taking a piece of paper and saying, okay, 21.9 plus 13 equals, 33 or 34.9. You don't have to sit there and figure that out in your head. You can just hit the 0 button or the tare button. What that's going to do, it's going to zero out the scale. It's going to make it think that there is no weight on it at all. So that basically that glass does not exist. So then what I'm going to do, like I said, 13 ounces. I'm going to take 13 ounces and go ahead and add it in there. And let's say I'm doing a cake, and I want to get all my dry ingredients together. Next ingredient, let's say this is flour. Actually, that's probably a better example. 13 ounces of flour, and then it says, okay, we're making a chocolate cake, so we want to make. It says add 2 more ounces of chocolate. Well, instead of having to take this bowl, getting another bowl, putting it on top of there, I can hit 0 again, and it's going to 0 back out. And now I can put 2 more ounces of chocolate in there. Then I could hit 0 again there, add another ingredient. Keep hitting 0, or tare, and it's going to always go back to 0, and you can just keep adding and adding and adding to that mixture. So that's what the tare button is for. One thing people do ask me all the time is like, why do you measure things out? Why do you measure things? And like I said at the beginning of the video, I measure things because these are all great, handy. This is 1 cup. Technically this is 8 ounces, But depending on the way you scoop something out of whatever your storing container is, or out of the flour bag, or out of the sugar bag, it's not always going to be 8 ounces. So always measure things out. I'm just going to do a little demonstration to show you that it's not always going to be exactly the same weight. And I hope it doesn't lie to me this time, or I hope I don't lie to you. So I'm going to do 1 cup of sugar. So I have 1 cup. Theoretically, this should only be 8 ounces. I have my scale, I have my the container that I'm going to put the stuff in. It's at 0, and I'm going to put that in there. That is 7.8 ounces. It doesn't seem like a lot, but let's say you're making a mass quantity of something. That 0.2 ounces, the next time you're going to do it, you're going to be off point something, you're going to be off point something each time you do it, so that is going to be a lot different. Let's do it again. Just remember 7.2. And let's see if I can get it to be 7.2 or even 8 ounces like I did the last time. So here we go. And that is 7.7. So it was 7.8 before, now it's 7.7. Each time I put that in there, it's always going to be something different. If I weigh it and I say 13 ounces, it's always going to be 13 ounces. It's not going to be 1 cup. I will put on my recipes, I'll continue to put on my recipes, 13 ounces or 8 ounces or whatever it is. I'll always put the ounces first, but then I'll always put in, this many cups. But I don't ask, I guess. For you to enjoy your baking and for everybody else to enjoy your baking, always try to use a scale and just get a scale. I think this scale probably costs, I don't know, $12 or something like that. So, and $12 in the long run, people are going to say, wow, this, every time I get a cake from Nancy in Georgia, it always tastes the same. It's always great. So, again, keep the email questions coming. The email again is info@kakebakery.com. And I look forward to you, and thank you for watching the video.